don't consider myself to be a particularly ethical person, but I am fair.
Let us know how is the House of Gucci?
Okay, greetings to whoever this may concern, and welcome to a movie review I'm doing with two other people for the first time. This is awesome. This is so cool. Thank you so much, Tyler. Thank you for having me do this. So, House of Gucci. I had the privilege of watching this today in the movie theaters, and rather just initial reactions. That was good. It's a good time, fun time at the movies for sure. It's a lengthy one. It's like probably 2.5 hours. So prepare to and I'll tell you this right now, the runtime you do feel the runtime. There are times where it's like, okay, like they're still telling these, a couple of the other family side stories, especially with Jared Leto. Jared Leto's a standout performance in this. But they were telling a couple of side stories. I'm like, you could feel its length. It's not too drastic now. It's not like it's like, oh, it's dragging on. It's just like, wow, this movie's pretty long. It's like, if I can sit there and be like, this movie's pretty lengthy, it's like, okay, it's probably, slowing down a little bit. But other than that, when it reaches its end point, it's pretty interesting. My only complaints with this is like, I would love to have the authenticity of them speaking in Italian. I know that is going to be a lot to do ever since like pre-production, but it's like, I would have loved to have had a little bit more of that, everything was in English. And I just had to remember like, okay, maybe everything they're saying in English was in Italian, because a big portion of this, I think half of it is set in Italy. Then the second half, the back half, is New York, showing their rise into the name. And but yeah, I thought this was a real cool story because I didn't know much about the actual true story. So this was a good introduction, and I'm really curious to see what is accurate and what is not. Going into all the like breakdowns and see what was true and what was not. But yeah, it was an interesting story for sure. Interesting retelling. Great cast. No weak performance in this, really. I think again the standout performance is Jared Leto. He was funny, but he wasn't overly funny. He wasn't like, because I was worried like he was gonna like try to stand out and try to be something that was just felt really out of left field, but he wasn't. He played this quirky relative of the family quite well. It's like a relative that you would probably have in your family. The one that's he's a dreamer, he's eccentric, and he's like has a lot of charisma, but does he really go anywhere? He's kind of like the delinquent of the family, the disappointment per se, So I really like how they played that. And Adam Driver playing his cousin, very white collared, he's studying to be a lawyer. So initially he had no interest in the whole fashion thing whatsoever. So it's really interesting to see how he gets tangled into this whole fiasco, basically from his fiance, his wife, Lady Gaga, and she plays a stone cold evil Black Widow type character in this really well, man. If you're a Lady Gaga fan, yeah, this movie's really good. I enjoyed her more in this one than I did in A Star Is Born. Something about A Star Is Born, it just didn't really. I didn't really like that movie, but in this one, I'm like, yeah, she was good. She was really good in this. Like, I remember I felt the audience around us getting annoyed because we can all read her. It's pretty obvious, she knows that she's manipulative, and you're like, oh, so whenever Adam Driver has his moments and tells her off and puts her in her place, people are kind of like collectively like, yeah, put that bitch where she needs to be.
Would you say it was a bad romance?
Logs off. No, yes, it was a very, very bad romance. Yes.
So you said
I'm sorry.
So you said it was a good movie.
Yes, it was enjoyable. Yeah.
I know nothing about it, so I just I know nothing about it.
It does feel very much like a Hollywood biopic at times. I don't want to spoil too much.
Well, it's based off a true story.
It is.
So if you Google the Gucci family, you're gonna find out what happened. It's like you really can't spoil Titanic. I mean, the stuff that happened.
Yeah, I feel you.
Some stuff is probably some poetic license has been taken, but the major events, I haven't seen it either. I want to see this, but I'm pretty sure. Like, I know what happens. It's news. It's history. So it's
Okay. Well, the scene where they were planning the hit, that whole scene felt a little staged to me, like a little set up. The whole production value in that one particular scene didn't really scream the budget that they had. Everything else looked awesome, top notch. I can see this movie getting nominated for costume design, and hair and makeup. I can see the movie getting nominated for that. Maybe a supporting nomination for Leto, possibly Al Pacino. Pacino was pretty good in this as well.
I mean, they look fantastic. I mean,
oh yeah, they were all pretty. They're all looking good. Again, like hair and makeup should get a nomination for this, especially Jeremy Irons. And there's a point in the movie where he's just like looking real sick, and I'm like, wow, that's some crazy makeup, dude. Real cool, real awesome stuff.
Well, look what they did with Jared Leto. I mean, it's like
just look at Jared Leto right now. I mean, that's
I think there was like an interview where Al Pacino had no idea that was him.
Yeah.
And so like Jared Leto was like talking to him, and it's like, who are you? And someone had to tell Al Pacino that's Jared.
That's Jared, and he's not leaving his character. So that's
That's crazy.
But yeah, it was good performances all around for sure. But yeah, just that little scene with the hit and everything, like them setting it up with the bribe and everything, and them negotiating a price, that all just felt a little cheap, borderline cheap. It just felt like a quickly set up thing, and let's shoot it and then let's continue on. It felt like, dare I say something a film student would probably do.
Wow.
In terms of setup. In terms of setup, it just seems like, okay, let's just place them there, and then let's just film it from this angle, and never really do much with it. So that's like, okay, It kind of felt like it lost itself there a little bit in terms of quality. Everything else around it is great. But just that one scene threw me off a bit. I'm like, wow, is this just me, or does it feel really staged? It just feels like a stage theater, like a stage play at times. I'm like, well, just in that scene, I'm like, that's like, what are you doing here? You lost me here. Everything else is good, but what is this, But then, of course, it gets back into it, and then it's just that one scene that just threw me off. But other than that, this is a pretty good movie. Yeah, for sure. I didn't expect myself to enjoy it as much as I did, but I did.
Yeah, Sir John in the chat here says, I think they didn't capture the sociopathy of real life Patrizia. She was crazy. She was the original Kim Kardashian, always wilding out. So
dude, Kim K got nothing on it. I mean, I feel like they could have spent more time on her, delving into her psychopathic nature in how she would really, but again, they try to space it out and tell some of the family story as well. Like Jared Leto has a little side plot of him trying to make a name for himself as well. And then of course, Al Pacino and Jeremy Irons, their characters are brothers, and they're basically like the 50-50 owners of Gucci, and that basically started it, and it's always like an argument between the two, like who's really started it. Pacino says, I'm the one that actually did it, so it's that there's that dynamic as well. So yeah, so the movie doesn't really delve that deep into her character that much, but we do very much see her manipulative side. We see her talking her way into things and talking her way out of certain things. So it's like it was really cool. It was really fun to see for sure. But yeah, they could have delved a little bit into that. If it was just a movie focused solely on her. It's called House of Gucci for a reason, about the whole family as well. Mm-hmm. It's interesting to know that there's no living, there's like a family member of the Gucci name or have no ties with the company currently whatsoever. It's just
they took it away from them.
Yeah, that's insane. That's what the movie mentions at the end. I'm like, no shit, that's pretty crazy,
So here's the biggest question, Christian.
Yeah.
Should Jared Leto have been cast as Mario instead of Chris Pratt?
Any one of these actors could have been Mario. Italian accent.
Well, how many Skarsgård would you give it?
Yeah, I guess we can go there first.
Let's see. So with all that being said, I'm giving this a solid 3.5. 3.5 Skarsgårds out of 5.
All right.
Skarsgård. It's not bad. It's not bad at all. It's a very fun time, enjoyable time. Performances are top notch. Costume design, makeup, fucking phenomenal. Just that one scene that threw me off at the end. I'm like, oh, why did you show your budget here? It's somewhere it's going to show its budget, and that was the scene, and it was really apparent for me. Maybe it wasn't as apparent for anyone else. but it was very much apparent for me.
So I hope you enjoyed the review. Let me know if you want me to do more reviews like this. Whenever it's convenient, I'll probably do it on the rendered image and then take it from there, then bring it onto my channel. But with all that being said, thank you so much for reaching to the end of this video. Please like, share, and subscribe to support this little side hobby I am doing. Again, the rendered image every Thursday and Sunday nights, 8:30 live on YouTube. Link to the channel down below in the description or on the top right-hand corner, wherever pleases you best. This past Thursday's show for the rendered image in its entirety will be available at the end of this video, so please check that out if you have the time. I hope you're all safe and well out there, and I'll see you all in the next one. Take care.